Then you might be thinking, but Jim, this thing has no armor. No armor, best armor, right? Well, here's the thing though, there's a lot of guns nowadays that the explosive filler in the armor piercing rounds, their sensitivity has been shot up quite a bit. For example, the Tiger H1, which everybody likes to play. Your armor piercing fuse sensitivity is 14 millimeters. So that means, yeah, as you can tell, that explosive mess is going to go right through it, it's going to detonate, no matter where you look at it. So no armor, best armor doesn't really apply to this vehicle anymore, unless of course he shoot you on the sides or something. Okay. Again, no armor. You have no idea how much I really hate this thing. And by hate, I don't mean, it's garbage because it has no armor or the firepower doesn't work in 5.7. No. It's fine, those things I don't really care about. I hate the fact that the playstyle of this thing doesn't really suit me at all. Hey guys, it's Jim here, and welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Generals but it's War Thunder. And in today's episode, of course, since the last episode of Heroes and Generals but it's War Thunder is the M10 tank destroyer, we are moving on to the M18 tank destroyer, or gun motor carriage, or Hellcat, depending on which one you prefer. I know that I just said that I don't really like this thing, but it's really not a bad vehicle, don't get me wrong. Both in Heroes and Generals and War Thunder, this thing is actually a bit of a nasty piece of work when used correctly. But if you don't really like this thing's playstyle, or you're like me, who prefers a more head-on brawling experience, this vehicle isn't for you. Trust me when I say that. Now let me break it down to you and I'll show you why nobody likes this thing but they want to play it. Now first things first, armor. You have no armor. You only have 12.7mm of armor, which is around half an inch. But the good news is that at least it's actually sloped at a very wide angle. So that means machine gun rounds, including the American 30 caliber machine gun right here, can only pen up to 30mm. Seems like you could, but thanks to the slope right here, small arms machine guns can't really penetrate this. Just keep in mind that when I say 30mm on your machine gun, that is assuming A, you're at point blank range, and B, the tank is not angled in any way. And unfortunately, it is, no matter how you look at the M18 Hellcat. So using smalls on this thing is not really a good idea unless you're marking this tank. However, literally anything that is bigger than a 30 caliber round can definitely tear this thing up. We're talking 20mm, 50 calibers, 37 mils, anything that is an autocannon or a big gun can definitely pass through this without any issues. So that's something you need to be careful of. My best recommendation when you're playing this thing is don't even get spotted at all. Then moving up to the turret armor, it's 25mm of armor. You don't really bounce anything with this, if I'll be honest. Even though there are some areas where it's a little bit of a double layer. Yeah, you're not bouncing anything with this anytime soon, if I'll be honest. And not to mention, since you have no armor whatsoever, you are an open top vehicle, so that means any kind of explosive, be it a bomb, artillery, explosive, heat, fast shells, hash, they're definitely gonna kill you in one shot when you're playing this thing. And not to mention, since you basically have no roof armor either at all, the next playstyle of this thing is once you get a kill, just leave the area. Just leave. And the reason is because you can bet your ass that there is a plane coming at you with all kinds of autocannons to light you up. Then you might be thinking, but Jim, this thing has no armor. No armor, best armor, right? Well, here's the thing though, there's a lot of guns nowadays that the explosive filler in the armor piercing rounds, their sensitivity has been shot up quite a bit. More specifically, the German armor piercing shells, for example the Tiger H1, which everybody likes to play. Your armor piercing fuse sensitivity is 14mm. So that means, yeah, as you can tell, that explosive mess is going to go right through it, it's going to detonate, no matter where you look at it. So no armor, best armor doesn't really apply to this vehicle anymore unless of course he shoot you on the sides or something. I don't know. And now moving on, the greatest advantage of this thing having little to no armor at all is the fact that you are a very mobile tank. You have 400 horsepower at 2400 rounds per minute. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually a Sherman engine. Correct me if I'm wrong. A Sherman engine powering a Hellcat. So that means instead of lugging something as heavy as 32.7 tons, you are now lugging at 17.7 tons. So that means you are definitely going up to 80 kilometers an hour. Just keep in mind that this is 80 kilometers an hour on road. Off road, you're going around like 40-50 kilometers an hour, unfortunately, which I suspect is something to do with the very narrow tracks right here. But that means as soon as the match starts, you can get into an early ambush position and basically wail away on enemy, and then very quickly relocate to a new area and then just wail away on everybody, which was why this thing got pumped down to 5.7 in the first place. And to be honest though, I'm really surprised this thing didn't get the EBR 1954 treatment, where it got bumped up from 4.7 to 6.7 battle rating. And now moving on, the firepower of this thing. This is the 76mm M1 cannon that is slightly tilted in a weird way. Not sure what's up with that. But yes, it is the same gun that you'll be seeing on the Shermans from 4.7 until 6.7 if you're including the Sherman Jumbo. So that means this is the shell that we'll be firing. The armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell M62 shell. That pans up to 149mm of armor with 65 grams of explosive mass. So yeah, with this shell you can basically one-shot most tanks you look at, especially on the enemy flank, which is where this tank will most likely be. Now you do have some armor-piercing composite rigid. I'd say maybe bring a few or don't even bother because you'll be in their flanks anyway. But I just bring a few just in case I need one on a rainy day. 190mm of penetration at point blank, with no explosive mass and a very horrible angle of penetration. Yeah, this is not the shell I would recommend using at all, unless you really have to. Now granted, you do have a 50 cal up here which is very effective against lightly armored targets, but just in case you might want to bring a few high explosive, just to be safe. And now moving on, the other aspects of the gun. You can carry up to 45 rounds of ammunition, which I say just bring all, because firstly, you're not a very well survivable tank, and not to mention 45 rounds isn't really that many. Unfortunately, there will be moments where you wish you brought a little bit more armor piercing rounds. But yeah, trust me when I say this, you might want to bring as many shots as you want. Bring all if you can. Reloading rate 6.5 seconds. That's actually not too bad. That's actually pretty excellent, but granted I am running Expert Crew on with maxed out weapon reloading. So 6.5 seconds, that's actually pretty good. If you're in a ambush position, you can just fire shot after shot. But just be safe. Just be safe. You can get caught with your pants down when you're reloading, so when you're in an ambush position, make sure you use your mobility on this thing forwards and backwards to get in and out of cover between shots. Vertical guidance, negative tank gun depression, which is pretty excellent when you are sitting in the ambush position. Having a really good gun depression will definitely be a big help. And finally, this is something you need to be careful of, is that you don't have a gun stabilizer. And there will be moments where you wish your gun would stabilize a little bit more, a little bit soon. So yeah, that's something you need to be careful of. So all in all, between Heroes and Generals and War Thunder, how does this thing fare? Well, firstly, in terms of firepower and survivability, there's really not much of a difference. You're both very fast tanks, and hard-hitting tanks as well. And you have no armor whatsoever, so that means any tanks that look at you, you will pretty much die. And for Heroes and Generals, Rito decided to give this thing light tank health pool, which honestly it shouldn't really come as a surprise. You basically have no armor whatsoever, so... But there are two things though that makes me prefer the War Thunder one over Heroes and Generals. Firstly, the 50 cal. The 50 cal is meant by you, not by a teammate of which you are praying to God that he doesn't spam the machine gun at literally anything that moves except enemy infantry and giving a position away. So I'm really thankful that I don't have to worry about a teammate manning this thing anytime soon in War Thunder. As far as the second issue with this thing is that it's not really the tank, it's the map. If you think about it, Heroes and Generals maps don't really favor tanks at all. As much as I know people actually enjoyed Heroes and Generals maps and all that, they don't favor tanks. Let me get it clear. The map is very linear, doesn't matter where you drive to, there's a river that will force you to take either a fort or a bridge that will pretty much rob you of the advantage of flanking and specking the enemy. Then not to mention, after Rito decided to fix the map terrain, they decided to put bloody rocks everywhere. Just why? But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Hellcat. Now let's take this thing out into battle. Let's try my best to actually do something with this thing. I can't make any guarantees, unfortunately. This is no place to be.
We have the advantage.
Isn't it a bush? Oh, look, the head pendant. Oh my lord. I almost died to an embarrassing death.
Thank you. Attention to the map.
You're welcome.
Attention to the designated grid square. A little more effort, and victory will be ours. Another zone captured. We have the advantage. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Yeah, whatever.
A little more effort, and victory will surely be ours.
Hey. No, you leave that guy alone.
Attention to the designated grid square. We're ahead of the enemy.
bit, come on.
Returning to the airfield.
Got you, buddy.
Controlling most of the zones. The enemy is winning.
Damn it, too far away. There's someone I want to see. The tiger I can hang, this guy no. Time to go. I think there's the enemy plane coming for me. Nah, I'm up here.
We need to put more pressure on
Really? I get everybody except the gunner. That's okay though.
attention to the designated grid zone. The enemy is winning.
I guess I'm a piece of shit. Hey! Too late, stupid.